Boom, baby. We are live. Welcome to Interview with the Man, episode number 488. We're going to talk about happiness in relationships and how people can actually not just be red pill miserable, because that's what some people like, it seems. I'm here with Ryan Stone, author of, I can't say the name because we're going to get demonetized, but F Word Files at the beginning. I can cuss a little bit later into the show. For our consulting, non-betraying member of Rule Zero, or not Rule Zero. Sorry, Red Man Group.
Oh yeah.
When the great Civil War happened, and we got to watch the other side self-destruct and lose our minds, and we're the only ones prevailing on top now at Rule Zero. The few, the proud. There's only the stronger left on Rule Zero, one by one. There, picking them off, but yeah. Before we get going, guys, don't forget there are 4 tickets left for Hot Dude Con San Diego. So Hot Dude Con San Diego is going to be sold out probably after today. If you want to meet me, and San Diego is a jam-packed event. Dollar Cost Crypto from the Crypto Mindset course will be there. I will be there. John Fitch, former UFC welterweight championship contender, will be there. Paul from Apex Mindset will be there. Red Pill Thor will be there. Afi Kingdom will be there. There will be members of the military, special forces, just all around great guys will be attending Hot Dude Con. So go to hotdudecon.com right now. Buy your This is probably going to be taken down today because there are 4 tickets left for San Diego. Dallas, there are 19 tickets left. Miami, we have a bunch of tickets left. There's like the people haven't confirmed and joined the Telegram group. But about 15 people have booked for Miami. However, at Miami, I will be there. Troy Francis will be there. Sterling Cooper is pending. Myron Gaines will be there. Donovan Sharp is pending. But you're just going to meet guys who have it together better than you, most likely. And we're just going to show you exactly just how to network and meet with powerful people and get what you want out of life. In-person consultations, speaking, networking. We're going to hang out, drink, party, and all that jazz after. So go to hotdude.com, get your tickets. And if you want to join the Masculine Empowerment Network, that's happening on December 30th for enrollment with the 20 days of webinar, the 10 days, 20 sessions of webinars, all about money, muscles, game frame, everything you need to know. Go to masculineempowerment.com to get on the waiting list today. Ryan, good morning. Thanks for being here today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You know, we've been working together now, since 2018, huh? Q3 2018, I think, is when I first came on Red Man Group shouting and screaming because Christian McQueen couldn't make it amongst all the other promises he couldn't keep.
Whatever happened to that guy?
He's dead.
Jesus. I thought I threw shade.
But I think today we're going to talk about, because I think we had a really good show on Rule Zero on this past Saturday. It's on my channel.
It was wholesome.
Yeah, toxic red pill ideas. And I want to talk a little bit about, because here's what I think for guys in the red pill think. They think no matter what, you have to be ultra jacked, ultra rich, ultra game. If you step out of line 1 second, have one moment of weakness, the girl's going to go cheat on you the next day. And also, if you have a relationship with just one chick, you are a beta, you're a simp, you're blue pill for life. And eventually, even if you're in that relationship with that chick, she's going to make you a beta male, and then she's eventually going to leave you and cheat. And so it's like, you just have like endless, you're just like caught in this like hedonistic loop.
Yeah, you can't win. It's like Catholics.
It's psychotic. It's truly psychotic.
And the worst part is they get little parts of it right, but they don't get the whole thing right. Like the part at the end where you said the girls will turn you into a beta or whatever. There's some truth to that, but it's not like because they don't like you. It's just because of a girl's instinct. She's always testing her man. She always likes her man to be better. And it's just instinctive. She doesn't know she's doing it. But here's the problem. It's not her fault. Like you simp yourself. She can't make you do anything. And that's the part that I kind of find funny, because all these guys are complaining about stuff that's largely in their control. So it kind of lets you know they're kind of outing themselves. They're ratting themselves out, saying that I won't be able to handle these things. Therefore, for me, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. To which I say, thank you, Mr. 23-year-old black pill 42069. I guess you're not ready for it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Do what you do.
I want to talk about how the concept and for you the reality of just happily being in a relationship, because you have certain red pill creators who launder money in Europe. We're not going to mention any names, but
Hypothetically,
allegedly,
allegedly.
they just say that, like, you got to be fucking girls nonstop. You got to be the champion. You got to be the man every single day. Not a moment of weakness, not a moment of humanity. And like, if you're not banging a bunch of girls, if you're not having threesomes every night, like, you are a fucking pussy. You're a beta male. Like, and that message is absolutely destructive for the average man.
Well, did I call it Catholic masculinity? Because you remember how Catholics, it's always, no matter what you do, you're a sinner. Luckily, the church happens to have the absolution for you. Just give them their tithing and come do confession. Sorry, pastor, of sin 3 days ago. It's that same thing, but they're applying it to masculinity. Well, if you don't have 6-pack this and 7-pack this and whatever this, you're not a real man. Luckily, my Gumroad course has all the answers for you. It's like, oh, thank you, preacher.
Yeah, exactly. When did you get red pilled? How long did you indulge in it? And then when did you check out and say, I'm done?
Oh, well, actually, that's a weird question. So when I say red pilled, I mean actually red pilled, not marketing red pilled.
Yeah.
Probably when I was a kid. But because
sexual dynamics wise.
Oh, sexual dynamics wise. I was first exposed to it when I was a teenager because my stepdad was pretty fucking red pilled, but he didn't really know the term at the time and he didn't have the positive parts of it. But as far as like the red pill stuff we know now, I'd probably say 2013. And it was always my joke that I was never red pilled by a woman because I kind of never really expected the Disney fantasy thing because I was raised in a pretty rough childhood. So every time somebody's like the whammon ain't shit thing, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of what it is. How do you guys not know this?
Yeah.
But it was the military that red pilled me. And I'd say it's about that. And then as far as checking out, I noticed, so when we first started, there was a bunch of like the old, like Reddit, like remember Illimitable Man and them, they were mad because anybody trying to make money off of this is a grifter. And I'm like, well, the grifters are going to make money regardless. You're better off using those grifting tools to make something useful.
Right.
If you can't beat them, join them. And then we just kind of got drowned out. And like right now, if you look up red pill, 90% of it is about not touching your dick. And I'm just like, I can't, John, I can't. You remember back in the day where it was like embarrassing and nobody talked about their jerk off habits and now they're like using it as a marketing tool? It's like, I can't keep up with that. Can you?
No, I don't even jerk off. I just can't. I don't know. When
Frankly, I'm like, it's nobody's business. It's like vaccination status is like, what, if you had an abortion, maybe don't ask personal questions,
I don't know. I'm just too old for that shit. Like, just to whip out my dick. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to fucking chimp out right now. Like, I feel like it's such like a primitive thing. I don't know. I mean, whatever. For me, it's just, I don't do it. I just have sex.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I just don't like that as even a conversation that's being had within the red pill. And it's not the red pill. It's guys that looked at this thing going, wow, these guys are awesome. This shit is switched on. I want to be a part of it. But they didn't do anything to earn a spot. And I mean, you don't have to. But like, case in point, you got in the trenches. You did your game. You did your Gym 10 laundry, as I call it. Or what do you say? Frame, looks, money, game, right?
Money, muscles, game, frame.
That's the one. I'm just going to call it Gym 10 laundry because it's funny to me.
That's fine too.
So like you've done some things and most things are good. Some things are bad. You learn from the bad things. You learn from the good things. And then you kind of come out the other side as like a more self-actualized man. It makes sense. A lot of guys aren't there yet, but they have no problems preaching how great it is. It's like white belts telling you how great karate is. And you're like, you can't even throw a kick. Get out of here.
Yeah. So So you got red pilled 2013.
Yeah, like official red pill, like when it was red pill as like Rollo, Royce, Roosh, all those guys, 2013, I would say. And like most guys, it takes you a while. You kind of look at it and like 80% of it's like, yeah, that kind of jives with what I've already known. And then the rest, and you put it away and then something bad happens. And then luckily enough, you remembered it all to have it come back. So for me, that would have been like 2015.
Okay, so 2015 would be the time then.
Well, both. I don't. It really depends. It's like such a nebulous thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
So
I
okay,
just tell the story. You guys carve out whatever date you want from it.
let's just stick with 2013, and then
Sure.
how long you womanized for how long?
Oh, the womanizing was well before that. That was like from 2000 to 2010. But that was mostly because I was doing pickup back then in the military,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I was a bit of an ugly duckling growing up, and then
Mm-hmm.
23 years old, I joined the military, and I found
Mm-hmm.
out you just couldn't date girls with a hectic sailing schedule. And so I'm like, well, I'm either gonna have to learn how to sleep with them on the first date, or I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna have to go back to not sleeping with anybody. And that's when I found like an old mystery DVD, and then it kind of started all that off.
Okay,
But yeah, that was like, yeah, just 10 years going through. And I was always about the notches until I actually talked about this in the book. I met this girl, started running game on her, and my wingman was running game on her friend. And then she just like reminded me that we had slept together like a month before. Didn't even
Mm.
recognize her, like not even a hint.
Hmm.
And at that point, I'm like, well, does the notches really matter if I'm like forgetting them?
Mm.
And then that would be kind of when I opted out of that part of it. So that would have been about like 2000, 2007, just before I got deployed. And then
So,
it was just like, yeah, you have fun, do what you do. But
what year were you born?
nice try.
Well, I'm okay. So no, from
I'm
two
like,
thou-
okay, I'm like the patriarch millennial, if that helps. I'm like the oldest millennial.
Oh, I can't do all this math. It's okay if you don't want to say your age, but I'm just trying to figure out like so 2000 you started womanizing. Year 2000
Yeah.
started womanizing. When did you meet your woman and decide to check out?
Oh, well, we first met in 2007. And then
Mm-hmm.
we met again in 2009,
When did you bang?
2007. She was 19 at the time. She just turned 19.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
Put that
And
one
what
in the book
happened?
too.
You guys broke up and then came back together?
Well, I
or-
had a deployment. She was just a plate, right? Like I didn't care.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't care at all. And then
Okay.
deployed, and then I came back, and our ship was holding this annual party that they usually hold. It's like a big event in the city. And she really wanted to go, but last time she went, she got kicked out because, long story.
Mm-hmm.
So, but she had me as an in. She goes, "Hey, I want to go to this party. You into it?" And I'm like, "I've been in the Middle East for 7 months. I haven't seen a white girl in like almost a year. So yeah, you're coming."
Mm-hmm.
And then we started. Then she was like a plate, and I dated a bunch of other girls for about another year.
When was
So
this?
it would have
What
been
year was
about.
this?
It's probably about 2009 ish.
Okay.
I sometimes get the dates mixed up, but they're broadly right.
Right.
And then I was in Vancouver. I hit a foreign port, was in Vancouver, was dating a stripper at the time along with her. And the stripper ended up flaking, and there was a bunch of shit the night before. And then she just happened to be in town that day. So I took her to a bondage party. Then afterwards we had Caesars. And I'm like, you know what? Like, it's been a year. And like every girl I had dated had done some fucking red flag shit, right?
What do you define as red flag shit?
Well, like lack of investment signals for one. For two, it's like what would be a
What's
good
a,
one? Actually,
I'm
the
just gonna
dog walker one where she like had daddy issues coming in there, and then it was more crying than there was sleeping together kind of stuff.
Oof.
Basically anything that I didn't like from a girl.
What
They
did,
didn't
what
know
did
how
you,
to cook.
I want to go back on that. What do you mean by you said something about investment? What was that terminology?
Investment signals? I can't remember how I said
Yeah.
it.
What is an investment signals for the guys watching?
Oh, well, that's easy. Okay, so an investment signal is when a girl is into you. You know that Rollo quote about when a girl's into you, she'll crawl through broken glass or whatever?
Mm.
It's like, how many sacrifices does she make to be in your good books? If she does something that pisses you off, is her first thought an apology, or is her first thought to tell you to stop being a bitch? If it's an apology and acting better, then that's an investment signal. If it's she was going to go out hang with her friends, but she ditched them because you're sick and she wants to bring you some soup or something, that's an investment signal. All these non-sexual ways of showing you she cares. The big one, actually, this is the big one. My girl had this one when so we fooled around. I had to go to work. I'm like, yeah, just take off, sleep in, do whatever. I left. She cleaned my house for me. So when I got home, my house was clean and she was gone. Like little things like that. And over the
Yeah.
entire year, all I got was the investment signals, and I got none of the red flags. And so at that point, I'm like, yeah, let's give this a shot. And I put her on 90-day probation. And then 12 years later, I forgot to take her off the probation, but I think she's passed.
Okay. So you when did you put her on the beginning of the probation? What year was that?
That was probably I want to say 2009, but it could have been 10. I just
Okay.
remember it was in the fall because we had parked in Vancouver.
And did you like decide like, okay, I'm not gonna bang any other chicks. I'm just gonna stay with this chick from 2009.
Yeah, because like I said, I mean, one's just the same as the other. I've had enough sex where I realize that, the new girls, it's exciting, but I mean, it's at the same time, a girl making you a burrito and driving you home when you're drunk at the bar is like, you can't get hoes to do that. I know,
Yeah.
it's just all those other little things. And then the sleeping around thing, for me, it wasn't like I've never had the urge to like, oh, this is going to be the last one. I'm just like, yeah.
Hmm.
Half the time I won't even remember it. So what does it matter, right?
What would you say is your approximate lay count?
Oh, fuck. I couldn't even tell you. I know.
100 area or 50, 60,
No, it's
70?
probably closer to the 50. I just know 27 was
Mhm.
the time that I met the girl that I didn't remember I had even. So 27, I guess technically 28 then.
Mhm.
And then after that, I just stopped keeping count, but it couldn't have been more than twice that. So,
Mm, 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 mm.
which, like I said, this is before Tinder and that stuff. So I don't have any shame or like, it's just, it's a number. It is what it is, but it's definitely enough that I don't regret. Like, a lot of guys with their girls are like, well, I never got to try anal, or I never got to try BDSM or blowjobs or any of that stuff. And I'm like, been there, done that.
Hmm.
I think that's kind of the goal as a guy, to the point where, like, when it starts to all seem like I've been there, I've done that, I have it all, it kind of gets rid of that like need to get a higher notch. And then once you're
Yeah.
there, however many it takes, it's good.
Yeah, I would say that I'm pretty like at this point in my life right now, I'm pretty satisfied. Like honestly,
Yeah.
I'm I don't really have the desire to really go out and like I just need new pussy. Like I just
But because you'll do it. If you do that, you will do it and it will
oh
work. And
yeah,
it kind of gives
I'm
you
the
comfort.
fucking man.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. Like, a lot of guys say they're the man, but you actually know it.
Yeah, yeah,
So when
yeah.
you don't go out, it's because, I just don't feel like it. It's not because, well, I hope I can. I hope, like, there's no hope. I
Yeah.
know it's going to happen, and I've been there, and I know she's going to smash my onyx chessboard with her foot when she kicks it over.
Yeah. And so for me
Did
that's
they actually? Did you have that issue where girls, when you have them stay the night, they always break something in your house, or no? Or is that just me?
no. The
That was
my
I took
my
a break
biggest
for a bit on
issue
that.
is like my biggest issue is like and this has been like an ongoing thing,
Mm.
but it's like girls just constantly this is even before I had money, but girls like leaving stuff in my apartment to like
Mm.
mark their territory and then snooping around my place. Like those two things, it's just like it's been I'm pretty sure
I used to
all
leave
girls
Easter eggs. I
yeah.
used to play with it.
My friend used to rob the girls. Like he would hook up with them and steal something from their house. He did the
Jeez.
opposite. He would like he would steal pipes and he would steal like fuck. He wouldn't steal money or anything. He would always like I just gotta. He's like I just. He's like I just gotta get a souvenir. He stole a bong from a girl. He stole a pipe. He stole fucking. I mean
Jeez.
like he's like I got this TI 84 calculator, bro. I stole it from this chick that he banged in fucking university. And he's like, she had Snake on the fucking calculator in Tetris. And I was just like,
Little war trophies. That's funny.
it's so weird. No, I never did anything. That was just the biggest nuisance I had was just like girls like constantly trying to like, piss on my leg and mark me as their territory. I'm just like, stop it. I'm not your property. Like I'm a human being. Like I'm not an object to be possessed. And that's something that like, just like something that bothers me. And
To be fair, my girl never did that either. I even used to set stuff around because then if they snoop, it'd be something I know they could find. So if they have a freak out, I know what it's about. She never snooped. She's been at my place a bunch of times when I wasn't there. Never snooped once. I was like, wow. It's just one of those little hundreds of little things like that kind of add up to. It's like, maybe this one's worth keeping,
yeah. Let me ask you this because I want to segue into from that conversation to this. Let's talk about red flags, right? So obviously, I have been with chicks that have like snooped in my place before, but I've still been like, it's okay. Like I understand. Like I kind of forgive the red flags, but like I have a limit. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah.
But what do you say to these people, men and women, right? That pretty much demand perfection from their partner and like she can't have any red flags. She's got to be perfect. She has to have no issues in her past. Like,
Let me put on my shrink hat.
yeah. Well, what do you
Here,
just
you gotta-
what do you just think about that in general?
I am going to blow your mind because most people think about this, think they're entitled and they're snotty and whatever. It's like, no. Here's the thing. People who make those unreasonable demands are no different than the 6-pack abs, 6-figure salary, have a Lamborghini, or kill yourself guys.
Yeah.
It's not that they actually want that stuff. It's that they want a reason for when their relationships fail or never start, that they can blame it on something.
Ooh.
It's like a sacrificial lamb or like a scapegoat.
Mm.
So yeah, when a girl's like, I expect the best, she in her heart of hearts, she knows there's no man that can meet up to this. So when every guy just pumps her and dumps her, she can say, well, it's just because my standards are too high. It's like the or incel virgins where they're like, yeah, I can only have 9s and 10s, so she's a 6. I'm out of here. It's like, no, nobody wants you, but you say this to feel better about yourself. It's all just like a giant coping strategy. And the problem is social media has kind of amplified that coping strategy into a brand identity. You know, Coke, Pepsi, incel, Coke, Pepsi, spinster. It's very strange how it works that way because guys are like, yes, this is exactly what I'm thinking. It's definitely not because that bitch never called me back the next day. It's definitely because I need to hold chicks accountable and they're all just hoes, or girls are saying that same thing about guys. Well, he's just not perfect. It's like, no.
He's a narcissist. He's a toxic narcissist. That's what he
Yeah,
is. That's like
exactly.
every girl, American girls, every girl, as soon as the guy is a bad, like if a girl hears from her girlfriends, oh, I'm having trouble in my relationship. Well, show me his text messages. What is he saying to you? Oh my God, girl, this guy is abusive. He is a toxic, narcissist, abusive guy. You need to run away.
Yeah,
Knowing like,
crab buckets, man. How dare you be happy? Ditch this guy.
dude, okay, we're gonna talk about that too. Um, but yeah, man.
But you know, like you can't get angry about it because it's a pitying situation. Like it's pity. And I don't mean this because I'm like, they're just losers. No, I mean actual pity. It's people who cannot get their social lives in order. And instead of fixing that because it's hard, they go through this huge rigmarole to make it everybody else's fault. And they're never going to be happy. And they're going to make everybody else around them miserable. And there's nothing you can do about it because like you can't beat out 500 MGTOW 420 accounts telling the guy that the problem is women, not him. You just can't. So they're just like, you got to let them burn. They have to burn.
Let me tell you something. I know this girl here locally in Japan, right? She's a friend of mine. And she has something with her to sometimes like she needs to be pushed around in a wheelchair, right?
Okay.
So she's a beautiful girl. But you know, she was dating this guy recently and like she agreed to an open relationship with him. And the dude, I read the text messages from this guy. This guy is like the nicest fucking dude in the world. Pushes her around in the wheelchair sometimes. Openly communicates about all the other chicks he's banging. He just got out of a relationship and finalized a divorce in August. And we're here now in December. And she was like pressuring him for like marriage and shit. But she was like, you know, you can only date 4 girls a week. Okay, now you can only date 3 girls a week. Oh, now you can only date 2 girls a week. And then she would call me losing her mind. I was like, look, I said, sweetheart, the problem is you. It's not your man. And her body count is 50 plus. And so now she was like freaking out and like trying to break up with him.
Does she do it in the chair too? Or does she only use the chair for mobility?
I think the chair is just for mobility.
There's a kink.
But you know, like I said, like, dude, that guy's a fucking saint to push her around in a wheelchair and be like, yeah, babe, I'm going to commit to you. And like, that's like a really, really nice guy. And I told her like, yo, this kind of guy is not just going to pop up in your life again. Like, you know, numbers are not on your side when it comes to like finding somebody decent and dating. Like once you do, it's kind of a rare thing. And so when that happens, you gotta do your best to hold on to it. And she was like, no, she's like, you don't understand. You're just a child. You know, I have to go find my perfect man for me. I was like, all right. I was like, cool. I was like, just go back out there and just get dick down and get thrown away like garbage by most of these guys. And I said, you know, I said to her, you're just going to repeat this pattern again and again and again, unless you stop and realize the problem is you. And of course she's a girl. She didn't want to hear that. She didn't want to take accountability. And, now she's back on Tinder, back on Bumble, and back out there creating her own misery once again.
Yeah. See, and I don't envy it either because it's going to sound like I'm apologizing for her and I'm not, but it's kind of like out of her control. Like she can't change it. It's her she feels a certain way, right? And her attraction's based on feelings. And you can't change your feelings. Like if you were mad, John, and I told you to calm down, you're probably going to get angry at me, right? Like nobody ever calmed down when you tell them to calm down. And so I kind of just realized that. So for her, the guy is so nice. He's so accommodating. There's no challenge for her. Her lizard brain is like, yeah, I got this one. So now it's not fun anymore. supplicative too much. I'm not attracted to it. In a horrible life or death situation, he's gonna buckle instead of defending me. Whatever caveman thing is going on in her head, right? So she just doesn't have the attraction, even though you're right. By every metric in the world, this is the best thing she could possibly do. But her goofy girl feelings just refuse to let it happen.
Yeah.
And she's led by them. So I almost kind of, and I don't want to say it's like his fault, because it's not really a fault thing. It's just people act how they act. And this is how it happened to play out. But had he treated her a little shittier, had he hated her just a little bit, it would have probably been all he needed to have all of that wonderful behavior work out for everybody. Now, whether he wanted that or not, or whether he should have wanted it or not, or he could have been better, that's a different equation. But if that was the girl he wanted, then yeah, not treating her so much like a saint would have probably been his best play.
Why?
So even if it's her fault, that like it's just about what you want, right?
Well, why would treating her a little bit less well result in her sticking around more?
Well, it's psychological. Okay, let's get back with the shrink hat. So there's a couple of reasons. One, it taps into, like, girls are insecure in general. They're more neurotic than guys. That's like big five psychology thing. Everybody knows this. So they got that little bit of insecurity. When you treat a girl better than she thinks she's worth being treated, she automatically starts to distrust you. She thinks there's something wrong with this guy. How does he not know all these insecure things I have in my back pocket? And so automatically you come across as like a danger, creepy, right? So by just that little bit of like edge to you, where you have that little bit of your boundaries, doesn't take much, just takes enough. I mean, depending. If you got a crazy girl, she probably needs a lot of it. But by doing that, it kind of lets her know, like, okay, he's actually seeing me for who I really am. And this is all like a subconscious thing that plays out. But try it. You'll be amazed. I mean, you've already tried it, but for the audience, you guys try it. You'll be amazed how sometimes just standing up for yourself and telling her no can be all it takes for her to realize that he doesn't think that I'm perfect, and he knows I'm not perfect, lizard brain style. Second on that is that you can only date 4, you can only date 3. All those little boundary pushes she didn't want to win those. Those are what we call in the industry shit tests or fitness tests. She actually probably was attracted to him back then when he was dating 4 other girls. It's like, I only wait you to date 3 girls. The reason that's a shit test is it's an instinctive thing that girls do, where I'm attracted to this guy, but I don't trust my own judgment. Again, it's all subconscious. I don't trust my own judgment, so I'm going to test it to see if this is a real attraction signal or a fake one. So if she said, I only want you to date 3 girls now, and he's like, okay, fails the test, loses a bit of an attraction thing, and then over time that kind of leads to, the Tinder scenario you talked about there. Had he said, I'll do what I want, and that's okay, or pass it however else he wants, basically not buckling on things that he finds important, she actually gets more attracted. It's more of a challenge. And it's these little things, 100 little things you'll do over the course of a day or a week or a month that add up to either I'm attracted or I'm not attracted. And a lot of guys have a hard time doing it, because for us, it has to be a conscious thing, right? For girls, they're just running off their instincts. They don't know. You can do it all day. For a guy, you actually have to think about this. I mean, eventually you kind of internalize it, but at first. And that's why those initial guys who get red pilled always have such a hard time at first. And they think it's super difficult and probably not worth the effort, and the juice isn't worth the squeeze. It's like, yeah, until you master it, you're going to be thinking about walking like left foot up, left foot up, look to the left, look to the right. And eventually you're just like, I'm just walking to the store, and you don't think about it. Does that make sense how I've described it? I got a bit Rolo with my ramble there.
No, it's fine. Do you think, because I think fundamentally something's wrong with this chick inside?
Oh, for sure. Of course there is.
Like, she's kind of broken on the inside.
Yeah. But I mean, it's salvageable. I mean, it can be. But that's the whole point of the red flags, right? Like, every girl is going to have something about her that you don't like. Maybe she's broken on some objective sense. Maybe she's just broken by your subjective standards. Doesn't matter. The question is are the good points outweighing the bad? Is the value she brings to your life worth the small troubles that she gives you in for it, right? And that's a choice every guy has to make for himself. Maybe this girl is great. Maybe she did him a favor by going off on Tinder. Who knows? But if it was a one that was like had potential and was generally good and generally not bad, then yeah, there's little things you can do like that basically you're managing the bad parts. And that's the whole point of a relationship, right? Like, you're never going to find somebody who's 100% perfect John. Like the female perfection for John, she doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You find like an 80% version, and then you find ways to strategize around the 20% that are livable for both of you. It's really all it is. I know it sounds and I make it sound very mechanical and cold, but it's really not. It's a game. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. I think a lot of people think that, I think a lot of people, men and women, demand perfection out of their fucking relationships. They think the moment we hit a bump in the road, fuck that bitch. She's a slut. I'm king of the alphas. I'm gonna fucking replace that bitch with a 19-year-old hottie. I'm too hot for this shit. Fuck this hoe. Nothing wrong with me ever. And I think we're getting a little detached from reality. And I think that's the essence of the red pill, is to teach guys the closest thing to truth and reality. Would you agree about that? Or
Well, utility. I make a quibble about. I don't really care if it's true, just as long as it's useful. But
See,
I mean,
that's
a semantic argument.
I'm looking for truth when I do all this stuff, my teachings and everything. I'm just looking for absolute truth.
All right,
So,
well, like I said, I'll tell the guys the moon is made out of cheese if it gets them to the gym 3 days a week. I don't give a fuck.
I like it.
Well, like, here's a great example. AWOLT. All women are like that, right?
Yeah,
Everybody takes that and they're like, oh, this woman's not like that, so your thing is ridiculous. Like, no. If you act like all women are like that, you make better decisions. So I don't really care if they're all like that. I just care if you act better because you think that they're all like that. Does that make sense better?
So you're just very results oriented for the client.
Absolutely. If you don't get results, I mean, what's the point?
True.
I'll teach you how to make money. Like, you got me all the best approaches, but I haven't made $1 yet. You're like, oh, sucks, man. At least you know the truth.
Interesting. I wanna ask your thoughts on this too. Okay. I have seen this unfold plenty of times in my life, across cultures, across countries, races, ages. Why do women hate to see their friend happy in a relationship? And if there's even one little smidgen of trouble in the relationship, why do they all pounce on this and try to rip this girl out of the relationship and do their best to like destroy everything? What like the crabs in a bucket phenomenon? Men do it too. The men do it too, but I wanna.
Well, they do it different. But yeah, here. So I put a link in your chat to an article. This is an old one from 2012, Red Pill. Yeah, it's been around that long. The Tangled Chains on the Swing Set of Solipsism. And they talk about how women, what solipsism actually means for women. And they talk briefly about the female social matrix. It's generally how women self-organize into groups. Men have, they call it, the men have the sandbox, the girl have the swing set. And with women, it's initial acceptance. Like whatever girl walks up, oh, we're besties forever. And then as soon as you're in that group, it's like Game of Thrones. It's cold, cutting each other down to build each other up. It's always like jockeying for position. That's why you put a bunch of soccer moms in a room together and all they're going to do is bitch. That's why housewives in New Jersey or whatever always sounds like they're just catty at each other. Girls are always fighting within their in-groups for position, as opposed to guys. We have like an entrance exam. Like if you want to get on Rule 0, you got to show you're not a piece of shit. But then once you're in, you're part of the family, right? Girls are exact opposites. Yeah, the way they cut those, I mean, partially it's because of jealousy. They don't want other girls to be happier than them. They want to be top of whatever group pile they're in.
So I want to build on that. Why do they, where does this jealousy come from? Why do single bitches rip girls out of relationships? That's my biggest thing for you.
Because it reflects badly on them. That's the solipsism part. If she's in a relationship, if she's in a relationship and she's happy, well, then that makes me feel bad. Therefore, she's doing that to spite me. That's the solipsism. That's nothing exists outside your own ego. And it's, again, this is all self-conscious. They're not consciously thinking this like some Machiavellian masterminds. It's an instinctive thing. Everything that happens around a girl happens in a girl's mind because of her. If you're mad, it's because she did something wrong. If you're happy in a relationship, well, then that's because you think she's miserable by herself. And she has to fix these things for her ego's sake. And that means you have to be equally as happy as me. Otherwise, it reflects badly on me. And that's why they do it. They don't even know they're doing it. It's just instinct.
What is the biological instinct for them to tear women out of relationships?
Oh, same thing. Like I said, I can't explain it to some like biological extent. I'm not that smart.
No, I'm not asking. I'm equally as dumb. So
like I'm sure there's some evolutionary reason that it works. I looked into it as best I could, but once I get to the point where I can just observe it happening and realize it happens, and that's good enough for me. I always find it you lose something when you try to like, instead of looking at your watch to tell the time, trying to take apart the watch and put it back together. I find those guys spend so much time looking at nuts and bolts, they forget to just look at the clock. So, was that? Oh, I thought that was an alarm. Were we out of time?
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Oh damn! Yeah, I live by I've lived by a firefighter station, so
You
ambulances
guys
and
have so much nicer alarms than up here. That was
yeah,
actually
yeah,
musical.
yeah. They asked,
But
they open up and they're like, "Excuse me, can you please get out of the way, please, sir, please." Very Japanese type. Very please, 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 excuse me, excuse me.
nice. I will say this though. I have a feeling, and I can't say for sure. I don't have enough data or field reports to back this up, but I have a
Mm,
feeling it's a case of sexual diabetes. Which have you heard of
mm,
this term?
no.
All right, I've coined it a couple years ago. It was the idea because back in the day, this is how I tell it by a story, right? Back in the day, we used to be addicted to simple carbohydrates. We'd chew on sugarcane root all day because it gave us enough energy to hunt and stay alive. So sugar was something we were hardwired to want. Problem is now we live in a place where sugar is free, but we still have that instinct. So we'll eat chocolate cake all day and not give a fuck. The problem is now you get diabetes from that and it kills you. And there's an example of instincts that were essential for survival back in the day are now harmful to us in the land of abundance. So sexual diabetes is the same thing, but sexually. Case in point, guys simping for women. Treating your women as more valuable than the men was a survival instinct. You know, caveman, monkeys, apes, that kind of thing. The guys that did that, those tribes survived and multiplied. The ones that didn't do that died off. So we have that instinct. But now we're at the point that you can hardcore simp for woman, completely ruin your life, and you won't help the tribe at all. In a land of 8 billion people, one simp doesn't do shit. And I think that the girls chopping each other down, making everybody around them miserable, I think that's a case of there was probably an evolutionary psychology type reasoning for it back in the day that made a lot of sense, but nowadays it's just diabetes. And again, it's because that's about girls. I like to focus on the guys, so I don't look into it too much, but I would have no doubt that if somebody looked into it, they'd probably see some old reason why that mattered. And then nowadays seeing it completely just ruins everything and kills everybody. But like I
Hmm.
said, nothing to back that up other than my own guesstimation, so take that with a grain of salt.
Hmm. Blackout Red 333 with the $20 super chat says, I think women who identify as alpha female and high notch count are red flags. Most alarming. What say you? In my opinion, chicks that are very assertive and like want to take control of the situation and also have high notch counts, they never they're never typically really happy in life because they like they're too in their masculine. They don't like chill out and be a woman.
I was gonna say
And
she shows up at the pickup basketball game and is like, guys, I want to play center. You're like, get out of here
no,
with
it's like
that WNBA nonsense.
when they try to like lead or like walk in front of me, or when they try to control the situation or say, let's go here, hey, let's do this, I'm like, look, bitch, I'm not your group of fucking friends. Like, maybe you're the ringleader of your group of losers, but like, I'm the king of my fucking realm. So
Just
like,
wander off. That's what I do. Hey, go ahead, lead. Let me know how it
yeah,
works. I'll be at the
wander,
cap.
I wander off, or I just tell them, I'm like, that's not gonna work. So if you don't change, then like you're never gonna ascend higher with me beyond, casual fuck buddy. And like I don't I need a submissive girl in my life. Like or for it to be long term, I just can't. It's not like I need this fucking, I need to oppress all women. I need a submissive bitch. Like, no, just for me to work things long term, like I need to be the man and you need to be the woman. I don't want to like, I don't deal with this. Do you deal with this shit, or did you deal with this shit?
Not usually. Well, I mean, it depends. So, like, yeah, no, generally, no. I don't want to have a battleground at home. So, generally, at home, everything runs fairly well. We're all nice. There's some things that she's good at. And so, yeah, take the lead. If we're doing like a work function for her job, take the lead. This is your thing. I don't care.
Yeah, it's her fucking job.
But at the same time, like if we're walking in East Hastings in Vancouver, which is like the most dangerous part of Canada, and some homeless guy walks up with a knife or something like that, I don't want her running her mouth. She probably wouldn't anyways. Like, let me handle this.
Yeah.
I'll hold him off for a minute, then let's get running.
Oh my
but
god.
but yeah, when push comes to shove,
chicks like
but
this.
but I'm with you. I never think about it as in like, will you submit to me? It's just kind of,
Just get out of my
when
way.
it's like, yeah, it's like shoveling your driveway. Nobody notices it unless you're not doing it.
Yeah. I've had chicks like this, and they've like have gotten in the way between me
Dude.
and a dude, like when we're about to fight. Like, she's gotten in the way, like, no, don't do it. I'm like, bitch, you're fucking delusional, because if either of us hit you, you're losing teeth, and you're because you're standing in between two aggressive men
Mm-hmm.
and you're a little girl. Like, I don't care how many Netflix specials you watch about female empowerment. You're not going to be able to stand up to a right straight
Dude,
from
I've seen a
either of
lot
us.
of girls catch that. I was from a redneck town that fought all the time. You wouldn't believe how many my boyfriend will kick your ass types ended up catching an errant side punch to the head. Dude, it's not helpful. Not helpful at all.
Yeah,
Getting all welled up here. Why did you say that? My redneck
well,
genes are coming back. God damn it.
it's just like the thing there is like, these kind of girls, you either have to like really work hard to beat this out of their system, like not physically, but like,
I know
just
what
be
you mean.
like, hey, can you fucking be a woman? Like, tap into your femininity. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And these kind of girls, they're going to be there. These are the kind of girls that, unless they do some serious fundamental work on like becoming more feminine, these girls will typically never be in, like, if they be in a relationship, it's going to be with a dude that's a total beta male. And like, he's just a doormat for her.
Yeah.
And then she's not going to be fucking attracted to that, because that's not what women are attracted to. And
But
then
she hates being alone, so they're stuck in this weird rut, and then she cheats, and then he puts up with it, and then we get to laugh about it on Twitter. It's a horrible cycle. Horrible cycle.
and it all starts with the broken woman. So like, I'll tell you guys, like, dealing with broken chicks, bro, it's a lot of work, bro. I've
I
done
wonder
it before.
too. So that guy, does he know that that's a broken girl? This is why I love the notch thing. Like, go get your notches when you're young. Because imagine if you hadn't slept with a girl ever, and then that's the first girl you meet. That's your only frame of reference for women. So you just assume girls are like that, and then
Right.
you have to deal with that.
Right.
But if you've dated 20, 30 girls, you've probably got at least one bipolar chick in there, one borderline chick, a couple really great ones, and like 7 middle, 5 out of 10 type girls that have like, half bad, half good. I don't think if you don't get those notches out of your way when you're young and you can make those early mistakes, that when things come along later, you're not going to have a frame of reference to know if this one's a keeper, if this one's not a keeper.
Yeah.
And I think that was important. Like, I never would have thought that my girl was worth keeping had I not had those formative experiences. I don't think you would have found your girls worth keeping if you didn't have like the 100 or 200 or however many girls beforehand to teach you like, this is good, this is bad, and avoid the fuck out of this.
Yeah.
And this always bugs me when you hit guys that are like, I only want meaningful sex. It's like, well, you need to start having non-meaningful sex to learn the goddamn difference.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
For me, my favorite kind of girl is like my favorite kind of dog personality. The one that like just runs up to you, and like the moment you get like, hey, don't do that, they like roll over and show their belly. Like,
those kind of
those kind. that's my cup of tea there, because I'm a leader. I'm a commander type. I'm just like go, 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 go. So I don't have time to like deal with insubordination within my ranks, especially from my first mate, which is the woman in my life. You know what I mean? I don't need to hear your marketing advice. I don't need to hear your thinking on cryptocurrency when you don't even own anything,
Oh, yeah. If she was good at crypto, then maybe you got a point. But just talking
Yes.
because I'm a woman's not cutting it. It's like, yeah,
Yes.
I'm with you.
No, like, Miss MLD, when I was dating her, when she would go to, because she's a fashion designer and she designs shoes and stuff, right? When she would go buy me outfits and shit, and like, I wouldn't be like, no, I'm not wearing this. Like, she would buy me some like fucking fire outfits. Like, I'd be like, damn, looks great. I would be like, oh, well, I didn't see this in GQ, bitch. Like, how dare you? I was like, no, this looks fucking good. Like, good work. This is great work. This is your realm. She didn't come to me like, I think you need to long Ethereum from 2,700 to 3,400 and make a little bit of money. I'm like, oh, no,
It makes your life better. That's fucking adorable.
It is, and that's the thing. I want to go back to the relationship stuff, right? I think, in my opinion, I could be wrong, and I am wrong often, but I think I'm right on this. I think that the healthy path, if you will say, for a guy is like eventually he ends up in a relationship by choice and not choice out of scarcity. Because
Absolutely.
if not, because look at our fucking favorite retard in Brazil, right? Look at him. Look at guys like Mystery and shit. Like, still look at I know you like him, but this guy's life is.
Well, I like his work. I don't really know him as a person.
The next guy I'm about to say, I know you like him, but his life is like truly a tragedy. Delicious Tacos. Like that
Oh
guy,
yeah.
that guy's gonna off himself one day, you know, or
Well,
it's
he's in
all
Hollywood.
fake,
I can't blame him.
or it's all fake for book views or whatever.
Well,
But
that's what I'm
I've
wondering because he keeps talking about being an incel. Then every time he needs to run a sale on his books, there's a big tittied Asian that's in the photos. I'm like, I don't know, man. It doesn't seem
right,
very incel to me. But what do I know? But I get what you're
you know,
saying.
um, that's what I'm thinking. Right, is there's a big difference there in in like doing this the right way. I would
Well,
say.
you know what it is? It's are you living life or are you letting life happen to you? I think that's the key term that the guys came up with about that,
Mm-hmm,
which I
mm-hmm,
loved it. It's perfect and it encapsulates things properly. Like you're right.
mm-hmm,
I'm going to get with this girl. That's a choice. Well, it's like, well, this is the only one I have. That's not a choice. It makes all the difference because then the part I love about choices is that when you make choices, you know what the consequences are, good or
mm-hmm,
bad. And then you either made the decision to, all right, the consequence isn't bad, I'll own it, or there's a risk of this happen, and if it happens, so be it. It lets you shrug things off. When life just happens to you, consequences happen that you weren't ready for, you didn't prepare for, and you certainly didn't agree to. And that's how you get all these guys complaining constantly about, Whammon did me wrong this and Whammon did me wrong that. It's like, well, that's because you let them drive the ship. What did you
mm-hmm.
expect?
Yeah.
They externalized all of the negative part onto you because you didn't make any choices.
Mm.
Like, I don't know, what did you think was going to happen? It's not even about fault. It's like, what did you think was going to happen? You jump off a cliff and you fell? Holy shit. Gravity works. Call me. Jeez.
Hmm.
That's why I can't stand those guys. It's like if you're not going to try, I'm not going to try to help you because it's just depressing.
For me, it's just a very logical thing to look at, right?
Yeah.
If a girl, you know, look at this girl's life, right? And objectively look at this girl. So for me, like I look at every girl, I'm like, okay, well, first things first, you're poorer than me. Second thing,
Everybody's poorer than you, John. Jeez.
no, not everybody, not everybody, but Charlie's not poorer than me.
Right. 99% of people.
Well, the point I'm trying to make is like I outrank you in physical fitness 9 times out of 10. I outrank you in money. I outrank you in mental health for sure because all the shit I've overcome.
Mm-hmm.
I outrank you in business savviness. So clearly, I'm the more qualified person overall to be leading this relationship. Not even to mention the fact that I'm a relationship expert to top it off, right? So when a girl comes to me and like tries to bark orders at me, I'm just like, no wonder you're single. That's all I think to myself. I'm like, no,
but that's
like,
a cool, like you had to earn that cool confidence about it. It's at the point you probably don't yap like a dog saying you can't talk to me like that. You just kind of laugh it off like, really? It's like a 4-year-old calling you a poopy head. Are you going to drop kick her through the wall or are you going to laugh and rub her on the head and say, that's cute, now get out of here?
I smile here. I judge them up here. And then I fucking block them here.
Oh, fair enough. But I agree. Like I said, some of these girls, you're right. A lot of work. You could probably there's 8 billion girls, or there's 4 billion girls on Earth. I can wait out for one that's closer to the good zone. Let somebody else deal with the charity case. I don't think you're put on this earth to fix every girl who never got the pony when she was 9 years old.
Yeah, I think you can work through issues together, and I think there's a certain level where you should work on issues, but the baseline of the girl has to be good enough.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, she has to earn that. The working through things, that's an earned. Everybody says like treat yourself like you're the prize. Well, that's what it means. If you want to work through problems with me, that's a prize because I will get through them and you'll get through them with me by being here. So if you're not treating that as valuable, then I'm not going to work through it.
I really like that. That's really good. Like, if you want to work through this together, we will overcome it because I am a man, you're a man, we're overcomers. And guys like us for sure. But if you're not going to, do what is necessary, then this is not going to happen. And you got to go get yourself a silver medal out there.
Yeah. And you see that? It's like it's a choice. So she doesn't have to. Girls aren't stupid. They can make their own choices. They can decide to be with you or not be with you. Just realize if you're choosing to be with me, here's the non-negotiables, and you have to mean them. It's like you said yourself. If you're not going to work through this shit with me, I'm out of here, and you mean it. So if she really doesn't want to be with you, then she can go, and you're going to be fine with that because you can go get another one. Like you said yourself right at the beginning, I will replace you if I have to. I don't want to, but I won't flinch if I have to.
I think this is a strong point of guys like us is like, and I talked about this earlier on the show this week, and I think the strong point for guys like us is we've already got our shit together. I think you and I have already won in the sense that we wake up and we're not a slave to anybody.
Except for my damn dog. He keeps punching me for breakfast.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, yeah,
I know what you mean.
You know, you don't have to go to the fucking office. You don't have to set an alarm if you don't want to. Like, you know, you're free.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that,
I wouldn't trade it for anything.
dude, fuck no. Are you kidding me? Fuck no. When I see
I'll
people
take a pay cut
away,
to keep it. I don't even care.
Dude, when I see people slaving away in Tokyo, like going to their office, I'm like, dude, my life is the fucking shit. I'm a genius. You know, I'm gonna go I'm gonna fucking go eat some pancakes and lay down for 3 hours after from my diabetes coma. You know, that's like, you know, I'm gonna go to the gym after, maybe have a half-ass workout, maybe have a good workout, who knows? But then I'm gonna come home, play some games, and just enjoy my life, right?
Yeah, and if you can do, like, it never used to be that way. This is such like a modern gift. Everybody's talking about how the modern day is fucked. It's like, dude, in the 80s, you couldn't do this. In the 90s, you couldn't do this. This is something that we've only just been able to do for like the last 10, 15 years. I'm like, I have never been happier to have it as an option, and I will milk it for all it's worth.
Oh my God, yeah. And that's the thing, right? So one, we've already won because we have to define the time freedom, right? So we're not like slave to our jobs. So the girl can actually have more easy access to us, right? Which is a good thing. Two, I would say this, right? Guys like us, we can bring the femininity out of a woman. We know how to like treat them like a woman, and like, you know, we're not simps. We're men, and we know how to make them be women, and they get that unique feeling with us, and we could bring the femininity out of a woman. But a woman can't go to a beta or a simp and be like, man up, like here's how you man up. Like they can't elicit that.
No, because then it's dishonest. If I had to tell you to do it, then is this really a thing, or are you just trying to do this to make me feel good?
Right, but
it feels like overtly manipulative.
Right, but the point I'm trying to make is that they just cannot genuinely elicit that from men.
Yeah,
and that's our superpowers, because we can elicit that shit from men as well. You know,
I mean, heck, that's what we're designed. We're designed to attract women. Like from a biological level, that's the only thing men are designed to do: attract to women and make more DNA. That's it. Yeah. Everything else is just some firmware we threw on top of that, right?
You know, in addition to that, I want to say, like, it seems to me that there is some general, like, I would say this. I would say the biggest problem, and this is why I added it to my statement. It used to be money muscles game, but now it's money muscles game frame. Frame is the number one most important thing to maintain a relationship. Would you agree or disagree?
100% agree. 100%. I actually got a story for you when you're done.
Go ahead. I'll give you the full screen.
So when I was doing consults for the first little bit, and I have like a clip on my channel as to why I don't do them anymore, but it was amazing. I got two guys that were part of the old mystery method, like Venusian arts or love systems. You guys remember that? They were the actual like pickup coaches. And they had moved on. They'd gotten married. Their marriage was in trouble. They called me up. They started talking about this stuff. And it was so funny because they were good at game. They were, you know, good at money muscles, all that stuff. The only thing they missed was frame. And then they found out as soon as, like, it was almost always right after the girl had a baby. And then attraction maybe went. And then they didn't know how to deal with these skills. They didn't have the internal frame for it. And so their only responses were, well, I'm just going to go sleep with girls because that's what I'm good at. And sure enough, they were. But the problem was that just made their home life even worse. And these guys ended up losing like a lot of their mystery method money over the years. And the girls ended up leaving, taking the kids. It was like horrible outcomes. And I think that's great that you're able to pick up women, but you got to be able to keep them past that, you know, first year or after the first year the kid's alive. The one of them, we actually managed to sort it out because we kind of, you know, the stuff that made you a good pickup artist was the stuff that initially attracted her to you. And now you gave all that up. You started acting like a simp, and then she loses attraction for you. Like, do you understand? And he's like, no, I don't get it. So you can explain it 3-4 times. And finally he realizes those same attractive qualities he thought was only good to sleep with girls are a way to keep girl interested. And so all I had to do was show him ways to stop faking it. You don't have to be on for 8 hours. Just be on all the time. It's like Rolo says, I am the game. All those attractive things you did to catch her, even though now she's 35 with a kid under tow, she's still the same girl. And so those same all I have to do is just keep doing what you did to get her. and you stop treating her like all of a sudden now where it's like instant white picket fence shit. And it's a very hard lesson for guys who are good at game have to learn, and it's even harder for naturals because naturals just have it all come to them without having to think about it. So then by actually having to make them consciously think about how to have frame within a relationship, it's a bit of a challenge. But the one thing that they're good at though is that they know what a good relationship looks like because they had one when everything was going well. So for them, they catch on a lot easier than the other guys, but it's all the same work either way. But you're absolutely right, John. It's like making money is great, but then making money and losing, like Jeff Bezos, he lost how many billions, more money than Alexander the Great earned, and he took over the world. And he lost it to a frumpy soccer mom because he couldn't hold his frame together. And it's the same thing. Guys are super attractive, hot as fuck, get into one car accident. Now they don't have that anymore. They lose their girl.
Oof.
Guys who have all this stuff. You need frame. It's the glue that holds everything together.
Yeah.
And I can't really explain it any better than that.
No, and that's what I've realized too. Like, because I've kind of like, these last couple of years, I would say these last 2 years, I'm 36, I just turned 36. And like just my drive to go out and like fuck a lot of girls, like when I was 29, 30, 31, 32, like that has really just dried up. Like now I'm all about like working on my business and like making, good stuff with cryptocurrency. I really enjoy making money. It's just like, I'm not trying to like, oh, I'm so cool, I'm an alpha, whatever. Like I really
You're
do
allowed to
enjoy-
like what you like, obviously.
Yeah. So I enjoy making money. I enjoy, for me, like a great day is like seriously, like just getting in a taxi with a chick that I love, go and either go to like the organic supermarket, buy a bunch of food, come home, cook, watch Netflix, have sex all day, and just chill out, and like indulge in my hobbies, let her indulge in her hobbies. And then, maybe like the next day, go to take another taxi, go to or Uber, whatever, and go to a restaurant, eat, have a good time, chill out, have conversations. I'm just more about having meaningful relationships now. Not saying like I need but all relationships, friendships, business.
Your tastes change over years.
It's just like when you're younger, right? You go to the bar and you're like, yeah, what is this? $2 tequila? Fucking throw it back. Right now, I want to like drink good tequila. You know what I mean? I want to drink like proper something, a margarita made with some good like Anejo Patron or some good
Yeah, because
stuff.
you've had enough of those tequila headaches to know that it's not that you've earned enough that you don't have to put up with that. And when you don't have to, I'm not going to.
and that's how I feel like, because now that I'm like smarter and more enlightened and like I'm just cleared out all my mental trauma and all that shit that I've been dealing with, right? I have like a different perspective on life. And like now that I realize, like I go back out into the dating world and I look around, I'm like, God, majority of these bitches are just fucking nuts. Like nuts. Like clearly understand why you're single. And like I just feel like my energy or like my vibe or like, like I'm just tainted by even spending time with these psychopaths. And I just don't want to like, it's like I have to like mentally.
They're the cheap tequila of women.
Yeah, like I have to like pump myself up. Like, all right, like after this, I have to like fucking detox and like go to the gym and like, do some self hypnosis, write some affirmations to like get this girl's bad energy out of me. And that's how I am right now. And so I think this is the natural progression. I think, guys, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, but I think I'm right on this one. I think guys that like continuously fuck girl after girl after girl for the like as they just continue to go through life and like this all they want to do is like endlessly womanize. I think it's a sign of something a little bit off up here. And
it's definitely some demons.
Yeah, some kind of demons, low IQ, and I think also those guys end up fucking up other parts of their life, their finances, meaningfulness in their life, because they don't seem to see at the end of the road. Like you can't, like when you're in your 40s and 50s, like, eventually biology is going to catch up with you. You're like not going to be you can't compete with the younger guys. And two, you're not going to have as much of an open window of targets. Cause the girls that like older guys, there's
less of them than there is all the girls.
There's less of them. And then you play your cards wrong. You waste all your 20s and 30s chasing all this pussy. You didn't work on your finances. You didn't work on building something that's going to last other than fucking endless ejaculations. And then, here you are, 40s, 50s, 60s, exhausted, broke. You know, you're tired all the time. You don't have time to you don't have time or resources to build a business, create financial independence. I think every man should do their best to cultivate some form of financial independence. You know, and
Dude, there's very few things that you have to do. I would say that's probably one of them.
that's why make money is number one. Make money, make muscles, learn game, hold frame.
Well, yeah, because it's the enabler. Like without financial independence, you're beholden to somebody else, which
Yeah.
maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, but that's letting life happen to you. And I don't want to take the odds on that one because I've seen way too many prick bosses to believe in that.
The house is stacked against you in life. And I think, yeah, man,
Yeah.
I think
What I like about, and I like how you put it too, where it's you like there's phases. I know MasterCard comes out with their little annual credit report and they talk about people in these general lifestyle things where it's in your 20s, you're just like disposable income consumers, and then in your 30s you tend to be investors, and then in your 40s you become disposable income spenders again. I can't remember the categories, but it makes perfect sense. If you're in your 20s, of course poon is the only thing on your mind because you have no mortgage, you have no responsibilities, you're not running anything, nobody's accountable to you. So yeah, of course all you're going to look at is your dick is the only thing in life that matters. And then you're 30, you have a couple $100,000 in investments, you have a business you're running, you have a company, you have a mortgage. And so, yeah, as much as I'd love to go get drunk off a chitty cheap tequila and wake up a headache the next day, well, I got to do my taxes and I'm not doing that in a headache. And so your wants kind of change. And so while, yeah, the hottest girl at the club who's like a pain in the ass might have been fun when you have nothing else to worry about, but compared to all those other things now, like your money, your muscles and all that, maybe you're like, well, that hot ass 11 out of 10 isn't quite cutting it. I'll settle for a 9, or I'll settle for a girl that has these great qualities. And it's good. It's just trade-offs. And then as you get older, they change, and you might end up in one of those resurgences, like when you're 45. A lot of guys have that where, they had a kid in their 20s, and then by 40, the kid moves out. They find out they don't like their wife anymore, and they go out and they slay all day. And that's fine too. But at least they're prepared for it. And I think that's the part that I liked what you did, is while you were slaying, you were trying to build your future, so when you hit a next phase in your life where you want different things, you can actually do it.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I think you were kind of throwing some shade at the Brazilian guy, so we'll bring up him. He's what, 35, 36, 37 now?
He's 37. He's not Brazilian, the white guy in Brazil.
Yeah, the white guy in Brazil.
I don't want to offend any Brazilians.
But you know what I mean? So like when he's done with that, what preparation did he did for anything else he might want? None. So this is all he has. And this is why I don't think it's about the notches. I think for him, it's because like I have nothing else. This is all that there is. And so it's almost like a compulsion. Because if I don't do this, then I have to face the fact that I'm not prepared for anything else in my life. And that's a hard pill for guys to swallow.
Oh, yeah. That
for him, it's just easier
though.
to pay for another hooker, or allegedly.
That meltdown is coming, though. I'm looking forward to it. You can't run from that. You cannot run from it.
One more picture at Denny's, I guess. Fair enough.
Man.
But again, I don't get angry. It's a pitiable situation. And I don't mean that to like flex on the guy. I just mean, like I would hate to be in that position.
Oh my God.
I really would.
Dude, I'm like, I'm so happy first of all, I don't even feel 36. It's just like a number to me.
Mm-hmm.
But it is, I guess the number is real, right? But I don't know. My life is so good. And like, I'm just so happy. Like I'm at peace mentally, you know what I mean? And
because you're affecting your life in all the ways that matter to you. It's rare. Not many people get to do that.
Yeah.
And you earned it. So of course you're happy about it. I should expect you to be happy about it.
That's why I'm the supreme leader. But this is why I think I've come to this conclusion too, that most people won't do what we have done to just be properly educated as a man to live a good life, in my opinion.
That's a good question. If you had to break it down by percentage, I'd almost want to say 20% to take the easy way out and just say it's the Pareto principle. Mm-hmm. And 18% of those just kind of naturally fell into it. And like 2% of them actually consciously did it, but it's just guesswork. I don't know. Yeah. Most guys are just made to be a meat shield for the rest of us. So I guess I can't fault them too much for it.
Yeah. My mom always said world needs ditch diggers too, And it's true.
I've actually dug ditches. That's the worst thing. You ever dug ditches for a living?
Dude, you ever dig post? You have to dig the post thing?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is hell.
We got lucky though. We had the tractor that would post it down, and then we had the drill for drilling it in. So I never had to do it by hand. But like,
so
fuck.
we had the post thing, and I splintered my fucking hand on the wood going into the ground. That was.
Oh, you had the old school, like the hammer, like the tube with the hammer at the top, and you just have to.
It's like a pair of scissors. Like you stab it into the ground, you like rip it open.
Oh,
pull
dude.
it up, you stab it into a rip. It's oh god, it's awful.
Doing it with hand tools? Are you nuts?
I'm from Florida. Yes, I am.
Fair enough. They should have bought you guys a John Deere. Jesus.
Oh man, I did that for a while. That work will make you a man.
Well, I think that's why you're kind of appreciative of what you have now. There's a lot of guys who have money like you, but they're just children about it because I don't think they know how hard money is when you're the ditch digger.
Oh god, they have no idea. No, I used to wash dishes at Olive Garden and Ale House, and being a slave is awful. I've been a slave, and now I'm not. Yeah. So okay, what would you say? Like, how you've been in a relationship now 12 years?
Something like that. 12, 13, 11. I stopped keeping count, but yeah, it's definitely more than a decade. I'd say 12.
Yeah. And so the way things are going, like, you know, do you ever get like, well, you know, they talk about all these typical, you know, typical things like betatization. Do you think your wife has betatized you?
She tries, but that's instinct. Dude, Franco talks about that in Practical Female Psychology. It's in my sidebar series where it's those constant tests to see if that attraction is still there. You only fall for them if you want to. So she'll try. And she'll try, and I'll push back, and then she gets happy about that, and I get happy about it, and it's great. I think that's one of the benefits of a relationship that a lot of guys don't consider. There's always somebody there who will always call your bluff, so you can't bluff anymore. You have to be good. You can't fake it. And if you do fake it, she'll call you out on it because she knows you, because she sees you every day at your most attractive and your least attractive.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it definitely does happen. I think it should happen, and it's good that it happens. And that if you fail it, you can't blame her because she's just Scorpion and the Frog, right? You can't hate the Scorpion for just doing what it do.
Right.
That's my attitude on it anyway.
No, I think it's good. How many guys? Let me ask you some just numbers, just your own opinion. What opinion do you have when I say what percentage of guys fail the betatization test in relationships?
75%. 75%. Half the guys lose it in divorce, and of the guys who stay married, half of them are in like dead bedrooms and sexless, loveless marriages. So I'd say 75%.
Do you think it's always been like this, or it's gotten harder?
I think it's always been like this, but it's got a different flavor to it now. Like, there was always battle axe wives. There was always chicks leaving their husbands in divorce. Dude, people forget about this when they talk about how divorce law is what ruined everything, the no-fault divorce. In the 70s and the 60s, I had Nick at Night as a kid growing up, and it used to be so common, it was a trope. Remember the ones, they'd always be an episode of like, you know, Laverne and Shirley or whatever, where the girl loves this guy and they want to get married, but she has a confession. Actually, I'm still married. I left my husband 3 years ago, but we got to go. And the whole series premise was that you have to go to the ex-husband and convince him to get a divorce. Oh, no. People were leaving each other all the time back then. The only difference was with at-fault divorce, you could leave, but you forfeit your right to remarry. So people left all the time, and they'd have like, you know, concubine cohabitation relationships, but it was always not talked about. Because you can only divorce somebody in the case of them beating you, being an alcoholic or a gambler or some shit like that, right? But yeah, so people still left all the time. The only difference was it just wasn't like legally so efficient. So I would say it's worse in like everything still happens the same way it always did, but the consequences of not doing it smartly are greater. I think that's the more accurate way I can put it, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah. So you think it's always been around? I think it has always been around, but I think it's far more prevalent now. I think
it's definitely more visible. We can at least agree on that.
Yeah, certainly more visible. And I think, to be honest with you, that's why I'm kind of shifting a little bit with my message. I think that this is the hardest part of the red pill for these guys, maintaining a relationship, because that's what majority of these guys want. You know, when you get them outside of, you know, I just want to bang a bunch of girls, want to fuck a lot of girls. Really, the majority of these dudes, what they want is relationship.
They want mom. They want mom, but sex.
Yes.
I
And
think that's the
that,
problem. What girl would you can imagine that if some guy's like, I want you to act like my mom and love me for who I am. It's like you're putting her in a weird position, man.
yeah, a very bad, weird position.
Yeah.
I would say this though, right? I think that this is the number one thing that they are in need of, and realizing, looking inside their hearts and inside themselves, and like, why do I want mom? Like, mom don't love me, like, because as much as daddy issues there are out there, there's a lot of mommy issues too.
Oh,
There's
there's the real epidemic, not this COVID.
Yeah, man. No, there's a lot, man. They have a lot of mommy issues. A lot of these guys feel not, they don't feel good about themselves inside. You said something on Rule Zero, and I kind of refuted it, but like I don't want to take away from what you said, because
No,
you
give her.
said for these guys to do their own therapy, to do their own inner work and stuff. And I
Oh
said,
yeah, and I see what you were saying too. So it's not like I
yeah,
disagree.
no, and that's why I wanted to kind of clear the air here, and I wanted, because we, Rule Zero, we always have like, Rolo in the background, like, are we gonna end this? Like, like in the private chat, like, we're gonna end this soon. We gotta wrap up, But now we have a little bit more time because nobody watches my channel. But what did you mean by that in regards? I take the Conan O'Brien approach to make fun of myself, but really I know people love me.
It's good. It's good. So what did I mean by that?
So yeah, what did you mean by that? Because I think the mommy issues, guys wanting mom in a relationship, that is broken inner game, and they need a twofold approach. What every guy in the red pill sphere needs is this: one, they need to fucking fix their inner game, and two, they need to know how to manage a relationship, whether it's short term, long term, because really it's about managing yourself. You manage yourself, the relationship gets managed.
Yeah, what did I mean by that? Well, everybody always assumes there's some institution, some fatherly organization out there, right? Like government, medicine, doctors, psychologists, shrinks. There's always some group out there that can fix you, and I don't think they can. Like, I don't think they ever could. They were able to offer guidance, like in the case of a shrink. Military offered us all ones after deployments and stuff like that, and it was like the worst experience ever. And I realized your whole job is just to give me SSRIs. I get it. Fucking ridiculous. But you know what I mean? So like, you're talking to a shrink, and he has all of this knowledge about the human condition, and what do? They basically, push you towards an SSRI medication. There's some guys say they'll talk you through it, but they're kind of incentivized to keep you talking, not to fix you. So their incentive structure is all wrong. On top of that, women tend to be the ones who use psychotherapy the most. They use therapy more than anybody because they love talk therapy. They're talking to their frenemy at work, and now they can pay a guy to do it too. So you got a situation where somebody's incentivized to prolong your suffering, incentivized to offer you medication instead of fixing it, and incentivized to deal with things in a feminine way, to deal with more female clients than a masculine way. So you put all this stuff together, it's a very reasonable assumption to think that going to this guy is not going to help you as much as they think they are. So you got to kind of do it yourself. And even if, let's say the guy is great at everything, he tells you everything you need to know, you still have to take all the action required to get you to that point. So you still have to do it yourself. At best, you can take this authority as a guide, same as doctors. Case in point, I went to my doctor, finally got one in Canada. It's hard as hell to get them because they keep moving to the States so they can earn actual money and not the stupid Canadian coin. And I just said, I'm getting older, I'm in my late 30s. I want to get a blood test, check my testosterone levels, so that way I know if I get into my 40s and it drops off a cliff, then I'll know what my regular baseline was. She gave me a 20-minute riot act about how roid rage is going to have me beat my wife, lose my hair, and my balls are going to shrink.
Fuck
And then my girl was like, yeah, I want to get some blood test stuff done. Like, here you go. Here's 18 different things you can check for. And I was like, man, fuck you. And every guy has examples of this where the doctor kind of doesn't know how to deal with things, but they can run a bunch of tests that they can get paid for. And you'll know these things that you have no control over. I always hated that. We've run 15 tests. Here's all the things you need to know about a condition. And now there's nothing you can do about it. You're like, well, that was a waste of time. So they're not really helping you either. And I think over the past 2 years, if I have to make this case that I've probably done something extremely wrong with my life, that doctors really aren't looking out for you en masse, yeah, there's good ones, I get it. So again, you kind of have to take it upon yourself to learn about how to be healthy, learn about how to take care of yourself, learn what warning signs are, have a girl feel for prostate lumps, whatever that means. There's a good reason for a relationship. She can stick her finger and look around. Oh. But you know what I mean? Like all this stuff, you're always wanting somebody else to help you, and nobody generally gives a shit about the plight of man. So you have to do it yourself. Now, your point, which I agree with, and I should have been more accurate with my reporting, was that there are people out there who understand this and cater the information in a way that helps you and guides you and speeds up your process and prevents you from making mistakes. Like I think you used Ryan and Paul as the examples.
Right.
Absolutely. But again, for every Ryan and every Paul, there's 500 masculine account therapy guys that deliver bullshit too. So again, it's still on you to have to pick a guy who's actually going to be useful for you. So my general point of it was just, nobody's coming to save you. If you're not going to do it yourself, you can't expect anybody else to do it for you. End of speech.
Yeah, no, I think that because I'm a huge advocate of mentorship, but I definitely agree with you on don't going through therapy in the traditional route because they just curve. I think that is this our buddy Curve of the doctor? $5
Oh,
super
it is
chat.
too.
Therapy is like talking to your priest back in the day, or see me for your Prozac. I don't take insurance, right? So that's what I'm saying. I think a lot of these guys are incentivized to just drug you up and keep you on the bandwagon as much as they can. Like the biggest problem with my business is customer retention because I fix guys and then they just fuck off. Like I don't need to watch this guy anymore.
Dude, I love that. That's my favorite part of this.
Yeah.
It's why you and I are still small, by the way. It's not that we're small, it's just we have better churn.
Yeah. No. I've come to the realization that the largest channels provide the shittiest advice. So it's all good though. But for me, I just know what I'm doing. And that's what I really want to do because I've noticed that the majority of guys that come to me, I would say at least 75%, who come to me trying to fix their game, trying to fix their relationship, trying to fix their money situation, whatever. All of them have some sort of root insecurity, inner trauma, inner game problem. And I think that's what we call a natural. A natural is just a guy who didn't have a fucked up life.
Early.
Yeah. He didn't have a fucked up life. His parents didn't beat him, his mom didn't beat him and dad didn't beat him and mom loved him, dad loved him. They told him like, "Hey, good job, sport. You got an A. Let's take you for ice cream."
Yeah, tough love. He started a business right during the .com boom, so he hasn't known anything but good. It's like, that happens. Mm-hmm. Don't get mad at them, but yeah.
So yeah, I just want to say that like I think that that's the two things I've realized that guys need in the red pill space. What they want pussy, right? Let's be honest. But what they need is inner game and frame management. Those are the top two things that they need, not what they want, but it's what they fucking need. And I think that's something I'm going to be shifting the direction of my brand a little bit more because I want to help people. I want to give them real life solutions. And so I know a couple guys in my community, right? There's a guy and I love him to death. He's a great guy. And his, he dealt with a lot of fucking abuse and dad rejecting him, mom rejecting him and shit. And this year I got him on a financial plan. He saved $20,000, got a job, invested in crypto, blew it all. And then I said, okay, let's try it again. Same thing. Again, same number, 20,000, saved it all, got into crypto, blew it all again. And it's just like, okay, so something here is not right. And
you know what that is? That's the mental models. It's like fat people, when fat people, a lot of fat people, when they're growing up, nobody likes them, nobody talks to them. They always feel very unattractive, and they have all their different little mental models and coping strategies they do to like cope with that. That's why there's like the funny fat guy is a meme. You get a lot of those guys, they lose weight, they become fit, they get into shape, and that's great. Now they're attractive, but they still have that fat guy mental model in their head. So they still act in the fat guy ways. They still try to be funny and try hard and validation in that because they don't realize that like you need to start acting like an attractive guy, and they have different models for the world. Poor people, same thing. Give a poor guy, have him win the lottery. What's the thing? Like within 5 years, 99% of them will lose all their money.
I think it's one.
Or yeah, it's basically that, everybody. So they don't know how to act like a wealthy person. They have the same poor person mental model. It turns out being poor actually helps you be better at being poor. And when you have money to a poor guy, they're just going to be poor with it. And they're going to eventually lose all that money. And so that's the hard part. And I think this is where you're going to love doing this stuff on your channel, where you have to teach a guy how to stop being himself because it's not good enough, and he has to be this other guy that he now is.
Yep.
Yeah, you made money now. The crypto guy, 20,000. Don't blow it all. Here's what you do now that you're that guy with money. It's challenging, and a lot of guys will fail. But I mean, like you said, they'll fail a couple times. All they have to do is get it once, right?
Yeah. And that's the thing. They have to unlearn what they've learned in the past. You know, you have to like literally like if you really want to make a change in your life, you actually have to change as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want to get girls and you sit at home and jerk off and think you're a loser all day, you're not going to get girls. You have to go out. You got to talk. You got to be social. You got to get out there. You got to put yourself out there. You got to go experience pain as well. That's another part. Pain, because it's going to teach you. But a lot of guys don't want to fucking do that, and they don't understand. And then, you know, they get upset when I tell them the truth, and then they go back to jerking off, banging broads in brothels, and then, you know what? One thing
these ain't at rock bottom yet, and that's fine. I'll see you when you're ready. If not, stop shitting at my channel, please.
It's on the way. But let me catch up. We're getting a bunch of super chats now. Competent Men, $10 super chat. Talk therapy versus drugs. Problem with talk therapy. Figure out the problem. It takes time, which costs. Whereas a doctor can issue a prescription in 5 minutes and costs a lot less than talking, right? Or, well, do you know the model when I was in psych? This is why I quit the psychology program. The model was 12 weeks of drugs and therapy. Why settle for one?
Oh, yeah. The idea is that you're so hard done by that you need the drugs to put you like at a level where you can do the work, and then you wean yourself off them. That's what they say. They even told me that one. It never works out that way. Most of the coworkers that I had deployed, nothing. Mentally healthy. They put them in an office with that standard bullshit, and they're all on SSRIs, and they never got off of it.
Yeah. Looking at this next one here, says therapy drugs after divorce made me not care about anything. Stop therapy when they told me because I rode a motorcycle I would be fine. Quacks, dude. Know Your Worth, $20 super chat says Merry Christmas MLD/Ryan. Thank you very much.
Merry Christmas to you too, sir.
Yes, Merry Christmas indeed. Do you watch Die Hard every Christmas? I do.
Of course I do. Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, Bad Santa. It's like a damn tradition.
I watch
while drinking a Sapporo.
I watched Home Alone 1 and 2 and Die Hard. I have not watched Die Hard yet, but I have watched Home Alone 1 and 2 this Christmas.
Oh, dude, I quoted line, like I can speak the dialogue as they're doing it. Like that's how much I've watched the shit.
Oh, I love it. Dude, I don't think I've never sat down and fully watched Lethal Weapon. I've seen snippets of the movie here and there.
It holds up. I think you'd like it.
No, it is a good movie. I love Mel Gibson. Especially after the elves rant.
Who started that elf meme, by the way?
You did. That's how.
Well, Rolo told me about that. He was talking to some trad cons because he's doing the circuit tour now, and then they were all about it. It's always about a new euphemism for the lizard people.
Rolo's getting some serious momentum with his thing. That's good.
I saw that. Good for
Nick
him.
Vanguard, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. And then my sweetheart, the Feminine Truth. Thank you for the 2 Great British Pounds. Yeah. So I think shout out to Nick. He sent a comment aside from the $5. He says Ryan Stone is a man. Glad you have him on. Yeah. No, I just like your very. I just like your very ironic to use this word for describing you, but I like your very sober approach to the red pill.
I was gonna say weathered, but I'll go with sober.
I like your very sober approach to the red pill. I just
don't get emotional.
It's very balanced. It's very digestible. It's very simple. Like for me, I tell guys like, I tell like for me, I'm a niche market. I tell guys like, if you want to be the fucking best of the best, this is what you do. And it's hard. And literally 99% of guys will fail. Right.
Yeah.
Not from my audience, but like from out in the world, 99% of literally will fail.
I get it. These are the 1%.
Yes. And so, that being said, I got to say that it's hard, but it's worth it. And there's virtually no competition because nobody wants to do the hard shit. But once you get used to doing the hard shit,
it's not hard anymore.
Hard shit's just like my life. Like life is easy mode.
It's not hard. You were just weak.
Well,
I think that's the way to put it.
People don't want to hear that. You said
Yeah.
it, so go throw stones at him.
You know what the difference is though, and like S Curve and Chesty, they were there too. Like I was the guy that you would have made fun of like 5 years ago during the hard times. So
Mm.
I went through it, and the things that I went through it, I knew what worked for me. I knew what didn't. There was 100 other guys with me. I knew what worked for them. I knew what didn't, and that's why I can speak about it so plainly and soberly, because it's like you said with chicks. Now you're at the point where you're like, I'm just over it. It's like I can go pick you up, but I'd rather just watch Die Hard.
Right.
It's kind of like
Exactly.
that, but for Red Pill. Probably not the best from a marketing standpoint. I should be touting NoFap and whatever the hell makes money now. I don't even know.
I think that with everything happening right now in the world, I think now is the time for these dudes actually to pay attention more than ever. Feminine Truth attached this to her super chat. She says, as a therapist, I prefer to see women. Men often need a good mentor and a real want to change and do the work. Talking about feelings in therapy can make men feel worse. Yeah, because there's no action tied to it.
I didn't know she was a therapist. Interesting.
Justino the Great 999 super chat says, love the show today. You and Ryan are like two sides of my personality. Inner game stuff is a real deal. Yeah, that's what I've come to realize. Like when I took time off and I was thinking and just like working on myself and working on my body, my mind, it's my little maintenance that I was doing. I had realized that if you want success in life, if you want success in finances, if you want success in getting off substance abuse, sticking to a diet, if you want success with women, like you've really got to have your inner game sorted out. That's the number one thing I think that's the number one predictor of success is getting your inner game. Because if you're tortured internally, that's going to come out in your behaviors. That's going to come out in your actions.
Oh yeah, you'll sabotage yourself, guaranteed. Guaranteed.
You will 1,000% sabotage yourself. If you don't fix your trauma inside yourself, nothing will work. Your work will not work. Your relationships will not work. Everything will constantly be broken for the rest of your life until you die. And it's hard. It's sad, but it's true.
Yeah, beats jerking off in your living room, I guess, for something to do with your life.
Just
I'm going to make
Rockwell
myself better. No. Not today, sir. I want to yell at women and kick them off my podcast.
Dude, this can send me to jail for a long time. I do not touch drugs in Japan. I do not fucking do any of that
those
shit.
guys don't fuck around there, do they?
No, they do not. I do not do any drugs. This is a completely sober and organic thing that I've come to on my own.
You're high on
just
life.
Evolving. Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of people. I'm not even trying to do it, but like since I've been back, I've changed a lot, and from just like doing my own personal inner game stuff. Like I've been writing new affirmations and shit and putting it on Instagram, and I don't care whoever sees it, man, because I know I'm doing stuff that is like again, 99% of people will not do. So that means I'm going to get the benefits that only 1% of people get, and I'm just going to keep on getting better, dude. Like the 45-year-old version of me, that guy's gonna be like so ultra rich, like Tony Stark rich. It's gonna be awesome.
You know the funny thing too about that, John? That is so formulaic. Like I like everybody does that, and I laugh because there's been so many conversations over the years where guys are like, these red pill pie guys are just cocky assholes, right? And I'm like, you tell a guy to be his mental point of origin, do some work, he gets an amazing amount of success. How the fuck do you think he's going to respond? Yeah, he's going to be cocky. Yeah, he's going to talk like the world's his oyster. That's what he's supposed to do. He earned it. And then it'll take some time, and he'll eventually like nestle into it and get to his new normal. Because like, what's the thing with you? Everybody always hates you for like the first year, but then they like you. It's like you're a very acquired taste.
Then they give me their money. I'm like,
yeah,
got you, bitch.
That was like the number one complaint I heard amongst my community is, why are you talking to this idiot that looks like Sergeant Slaughter? And I'm like, that's what you do when you succeed. And sure enough, the guys in that community too, we'd fix their stuff up, and then they act this, maybe not Sergeant Slaughter like, but they act the same way. They get cocky and all that shit, and then they're like, oh, now I see it. Now I get it.
Yep.
So welcome to being a guy. That's the process. Eventually, you're going to have a phase where you're a cocky asshole, and people are going to love you for it, and then you're going to, do it for your year, and then you're going to be over it, and it's just going to be like the new normal. It's part of the process.
Like I said, I always say every knee will bow and every tongue will confess eventually. They will know the hot dude life is the way, the truth, and the life. But at the end of the day, I'm doing the stuff that's hard, which is like truly unfucking dudes' lives. Like I'm taking dudes from like literal zeros and making them heroes. And that's the hardest work to do, but it's also the most rewarding. And I don't think anybody does it better than me because I just put in the crazy hours. I do the, I like fight with these guys on Zoom. I'm like, no, you're wrong. And here's why you're wrong. And they come back the next day ready to fight again. I'm like, well, here's why you're wrong again. And I just don't back down. And I eventually beat it into their heads and they figure it out. And they're like, oh God, you were right.
Oh, you got so much patience. You're Job, man. Red pill Job.
it's seriously, it is my calling. I found my purpose in life. And so this is like really what I'm just doing it. And when you find your purpose in life and you do it, like everybody's like, oh, this guy, like a lot of people get salty because I'm so successful. But the reality is I'm valuable. I bring a valuable service to the world, and the money is just a byproduct. That's I don't do this.
It's
I don't
the scoreboard. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't do this for the money. Because I do this, I get a fuckload of money. That's the connection the haters don't want to put together. That's why I love watching these black pill channels like come up, cannibalize, come up, cannibalize, come up, cannibalize. I'm like, yeah, it's just so predictable. So predictable. I love it.
You sons of bitches. If it wasn't for like you and Rollo, I would never know they exist until you send me like, you guys got to check this shit out. And it's always the saddest thing I've ever seen. And like, you guys are depressing me.
Oh God. It's true. Well, listen, man, I know you got to go on Jack's channel now.
Oh, no, so. Jack, we rescheduled that one to next week, so we're all good. So as long as you're on your show, I got time for you.
No, I think we had a good run. I think it's good there. I think it's just good conversation for the guys. I just want to let people know, like, I just want to kind of bring a less toxic approach because I'm feeling more responsible for my plebcast of 200 live viewers. I feel responsible for these people.
Well, what's
watching.
The marketing thing? You don't need 1 million fans. You need 1,000 loyal fans. That was the thing. So yeah, you're like, find the 1,000 guys who are switched on, and then that's it.
Yeah,
that's all you need.
But it's like I said, I'm not even doing this for the money. Like I'm not. Like the money is a byproduct, and the money, I just putting a barrier between me and morons by putting money there.
Yeah,
like just
it's so good too.
Yeah, because it was free, I would attract all these morons and people who don't value it. But the money's like keeps the idiots away, and the money is like a gateway for people. Like when they open through, they're like, okay, I'm going to do the work because I paid the money, right? Because there is work involved. I'm not going to like pat you on your shoulder and be like, hey, now you're an alpha male. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. We'll bless you. Like now you're an
the
alpha
MLD
male.
certificate, the alpha male gold medal.
I dubbed the endless ejaculator, LB1789, my good friend here in Tokyo, 500 yen. He says, it is transformation. It is not supposed to feel good, at least initially. John Ryan, big fan of your work. Thank you so much, my buddy. Big fan of you. He's a great guy. This guy, talk about a guy who has his shit sorted out. He has it sorted out for generations.
Nice.
All right, well, that's gonna leave us there. We'll catch you guys next time, man. Appreciate you. Check out Ryan on YouTube, Ryan Stone, RIAN space STONE.